Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, June 2nd. Welcome to QOL Trading Pre-Market Analysis. And before we get into things, over in the chat there, you see a link to the website, which is QOLtrading.com, as well as a link below that to join our Discord community, which is free. And inside the community, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade to our trading desk, which we do live trading from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time every day. Oh, I noticed my camera is not working right now. There we go. There we go. You can see me now. Also, one thing, when you join the QOL website and you go on the website here, you put your name and your email address in here, and you will be on the list to get our free market analysis. It's a newsletter that we put out weekly, and this is pretty much what this week's edition looked like. Go over the market at a glance. I cover all the broader markets. I cover the new things that are happening for us right now. You got SpaceX, of course, Tesla, always, crude, Bitcoin. I go over featured levels. I go over my thoughts. This is all for your own discretionary, right? These are just my opinions. I'm not telling you one way or the other, but this is just what I'm looking at. And then I go over the Tesla levels, the key levels, what happened, analyst targets. This week in the market, I go over everything that happened, from Warsh having his first debut. Then I go over, geopolitical, very informative. So put your name and your email address in there so you can get a copy of the weekly newsletter that comes out every Sunday. I go over what's ahead. So this week we're watching oil, we're watching our levels right now as we're still pretty close to all-time highs for all the broader markets. Then you've got some Fed speak later on this week, and then you're going to have to watch some levels on SpaceX this morning for trading that. Midweek you've got Micron and FedEx earnings. Micron is I think it's up like 300% or something for the year. And then later on in the week you got May PCE, and then here are some notes that I kind of focus on for this week, and then the tools. And then also I've got a trading tool that I've been developing right now, and I'm just finalizing the script so we can start, giving everybody an opportunity to get a piece of that. So anyways, getting into it right now, let's go over our economic data really quick. We have nothing for today. And let's see what else. Obviously, the big talk is the Iran deal. That the negotiations started, and so now the timeline is for 60 days has started. For tomorrow, Tuesday, I don't see anything on the docket. Say it's too earth-shattering at all. Wednesday, I thought we have new home sales. I thought there was going to be some Fed speak. Yeah, there's some Fed speak. Let me see here. I thought we had some oil inventories. I don't see anything on there. So you've got the final GDP on Thursday, PCE, which I just mentioned as well, and that's all before the market opens. Here's your Fed speak that's coming in on Thursday, late Thursday. Friday, you've got University of Michigan consumer sentiment at 9 o'clock, and I've stated already that I think they've become too political, so I don't put a lot of weight on that. So anyways, let's get into things. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. And of course, down below, you can go into the descriptions there so you can join our links for Discord and our website. So let's start with the VIX. The VIX is still flat right now, which is good. Kind of elevating a little bit this morning, a little gap up, but it's working its way down to close that gap there at $16.78 was close from last Thursday because we did not trade on Friday. We are below the 200-day moving average at $18.61. I would say that ideally you'd like to get below this $15.74 to really show yourself some good comfort and balance with the marketplace and take the volatility away from it. However, we still have some gap downs, one from April 8th at $25.74, and the last one from March 30th at $30.34. So you got to watch those levels. So I think if the VIX spikes and the market starts to flush a little bit, you'll get some resistance up at that level right there. So Let's get into oil. Oil, where are you? Oil, there you are. So below $76.80 a barrel, pretty good. All based, on the talks that's happening right now in with Iran. Like to see oil get below the $67.83 a barrel. We are well below the moving averages. You've got the 20-day sitting up at $87.34 and the 50 sitting at $93.58. So I would say that as long as there's no hiccups in the deal, we're going to see oil continue to flush. However, if you have somebody that breaks the ceasefire, I could see oil spiking. You do have a gap down here from June 15th at $84.34. So I would watch that. I would watch that little spike up there as well. So as long as we're flat down here, that's good. It's good for the gas pump, right? It's good for our pocketbooks. All right, let's get into the ES. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. So we are pushing higher here right now. I would say I'm looking at the wrong chart. Sorry, people. Still pushing higher. I would say for today, you have this 20-day SMA sitting at 75.56.68. You want to hold that level. This you probably may get some resistance up there at that 75.99.30, 75.90.50 level. If you can push through that, then you could start making your way back towards all-time highs. So we are consolidating right now. This could be a start of just kind of watching your levels, trade off your levels. But you could see that, you had a nice little gap. You had a gap up here that got filled on, I think Tuesday that was. And then right now we're consolidating here. So trade your levels. We are pushing higher. However, pay attention down here. This is where your money's made. It's on low volume that we're pushing higher. So be careful of the fake outs. However, if you are supporting these certain levels, then pullback longs are probably in play. I would say if the market does flush a little bit right now, you're going to have this midline regressional trend line. I don't mind here at 75.22.63. If you lose that, you'll come back down here to this gap up rather at 74.98.27, and below that, the lower end regressional trend line coming in at $74.87.91. If you lose that, I don't see much down here. Maybe you come down here and you test lows from the 17th, right? At 74.72.75. If you lose that, you're coming down here, and you'll probably test the 50-day moving average, sitting at 74.07.90, right? So put these levels on your charts, people, right now. With everything that's happening, you want to just watch you want to trade off of your levels. All the major headwinds are done right now. There is talks, so pay attention. I'm sure you're going to have some hiccups out there. You're going to have some people that are not going to be abiding by the ceasefire, and you're going to have a few bombs dropped here and there that's going to spook the market. So as far as the SPY is concerned, same thing on the SPY. You want to hold that 20-day moving average sitting here at 747.05. Call it 74.710 would be a good level. You have this open point of control sitting here at 750.25. If you pop up there, you could get a little resistance in there. And then if you can move above that, then we have another open point of control sitting at 757.70, which would be a nice target up there on that side here. If you do get some flush, pull back into the 743.46. It's a high from May 15th. And then if you lose that, you have this gap up at 741.75 from June 15th. And then below that, we have this lower end regressional trend line that I have here at 738.75. Lose that, 731.75 is your next level here. So we're kind of in a channel here in between the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average, sitting at the 50-day sitting at 729.86. So just like on the ES, this could be a start of a little consolidation happening here right now. So just trade your levels, right? Watch your levels, and make sure that you have your proper risk management in place with your stops if the trades don't work out for you in your direction that you're taking. So Q's still pushing higher here. Got this point of control here that we're hitting. Let me clean this up so we can see this level here. It's a May high. So yeah, that's on the left here. I'm actually going to just remove that if I can. Remove. Boom. 30,820.71. We're getting above that right now. I think if you hold that level, then you can start pushing back towards all-time highs. So maybe you get a little push pre-market. We still have another 50 minutes till the market opens, so anything can happen. I mean, the futures are open right now, but till everything else starts kicking in, you could get, a little push here. So maybe if you push into this all-time high at 31,100, may get a little resistance up there too, and only touch it one time. So it kind of may go back up here and try to test this up, make it a little double top before we start to flush out. You can see right here, this is channeling also. It's channeling up. So if you get a flush down here, 30,623.72 is a decent level, and then below that you have 30,545.75, and then you have the lower end regressional trend line here at 30,458.17. If you lose that, you've got the 20-day down here for your line of defense at 30,245.83, and then below that at 30,049.75. Point of control still open down here from June 12th, 29,903 at 23 cents right there. If you lose that, we're going to hit a speed zone down here, 29,507.67 is the next level that I really have. That would give you some support down there. So upside right now, pushing. Use if you get a pop in the morning here, and then maybe pull back here. You got some pullback long areas. You do have the close. Where's our close here? So, I mean, I would actually I would use a 30,664.37 level for the pullback if the market pulled back a couple hundred points there. But aside from that, we are pushing higher right now. I think everybody's pretty optimistic on a deal, which is great. Hopefully it does happen. Me, on the other hand, I'm a little bit, treading with caution on this, right? So let's get over to the Qs right now. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. Also, if there's other things that you want me to cover that I don't cover in the pre-market analysis, I'd be glad to take a look at things. Just drop a comment down below. However, I do not cover any penny stocks. I only cover stocks that are making money and that have liquidity and have some decent volume in there. That's why I pretty much stick with Tesla, and now SpaceX is going to be there, even though SpaceX has a little bit of a low float. So on the Qs, same thing on the Qs. It's a bit choppy right now, but we are above the 20-day moving average, 726.88. You're going to want to hold that today. If you lose that, you'll come down to this gap up at 721.34, and then below that, maybe a little bit of a speed zone down to 711 and 10 cents. And then below that, we have an open point of control sitting at 723. And that's from June 11. So I would not be surprised if you do get that flush at some point this week, maybe. And then you got that 50-day moving average, 693.18 for last line of defense to support it. And hopefully things don't switch out in reverse on us. So again, trade your chart targets approaching all-time highs, 748.65. Watch your levels up there. Could get some resistance up there. But if you do plow through it, maybe you'll be able to use this, maybe a little, if we could get a good push through it and it pulls back, break and retest, you'll use this level, 748.65. You'll change that from a supply to a demand area. And then the next level that I have up here, I don't have anything until, I think I had it like 800, but I got to redo these charts anyway. So that is it for the broader markets, the Qs and the SPY. Now let's get into Tesla. Again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit that thumbs up button, like this video. And Tesla, let's find our Tesla charts here. Where are you, Tesla? There you are. It's a little bigger. Boom. Tesla's been a bit sloppy lately. You had a little movement. You had a big push flush down on Thursday, and then you pop back up. You got you had a little bit of a gap in here, and it got a little wicky right now. So I would say with Tesla, I'd make this the supply and demand area here. You could see I had this on here. I went over this on Thursday, and it held up pretty well, right? I said that this is going to be your first medium support level, and then here was going to be a more sustainable. And then obviously, if you get that major flush, this is where you're going to be. I would be comfortable having our longs. As far as today is concerned, in order to be comfortable for Tesla to continue to move higher, I think we're going to have to regain this 403 level. You're going to push up into this area, this purple level area. This purple area here is my kind of pivot area here. So you can use it a bunch of different ways. You can use it as a pop and fade. If Tesla pops up into this area, maybe you get a fade I do like the way that it's kind of like supporting a little bit, right? So, you had that big flush, came back late in the day, in the afternoon, you had that rejection, and then boom, you had that pop up there now. So I would say this 200-day exponential moving average at 396.85 could be a line in the sand for you also. If you get a pop in the morning, you can use this as a level of support. I think if you lose this level, then you use that level as a supply area where there could be some sellers in there. But you could see right here on this level here, this 390.76 level. It was a Friday close from June 5th. Held that pretty nicely on the post market on Thursday. Now we'll see what it does today. I do have this trend line that I drew here from last week, and it seems to be holding that trend line as well. So this could be another area too at 392.56. But I think in order to be comfortable with Tesla, we're going to have to regain that 400 level, no doubt, right? So, anyways, let's get into let's cover SpaceX first. Let me see where my SpaceX is. SpaceX. So not a lot of data for the last week on SpaceX. However, the best you could do is you can use previous highs, this break and retest. So this 176.52, this is the high on the opening day. So line in the sand today for those of you that are trading SpaceX. If you lose 176.52, I think you've got this, you got a midline regressional trend line here that I drew. Not a lot of data that we have to go by. However, you can obviously see we're making lower highs and lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So you can see it's trending downward right now. So you're going to have to respect your downward trend here, right? If we're trending up, this trend line, this regressional trend line would be moving forward, moving up. But you can see right here, clearly there's been some selling going on. So I would say if you lose this 176.52, you've got a low here from the 15th at 168.35. And then if you lose that, you've got the IPO open at 150, right? So anyways, put these levels on your charts, and we'll as they trade more and more, we'll get more data. As far as our let's go over our indicator that we've been just working on right now. All 7 mag stocks hit, right? And for those of you that are new, this is all part of the code. I don't write any of this. This is all when the market starts developing in the morning. This starts generating. So one thing I want to point out. So we're looking at a 1-minute chart right now. And so what typically happens on a 1-minute chart, you get your range and then it breaks out. So it did not give us a signal on Thursday, and I want to go over why, because I was looking at that. It's happened once before, and then I realized why it did not give a signal. Why it did not give a signal is because this is a 1-minute chart, and this is pretty much gauging your 1-minute range. So what had happened was it made the 1-minute range. However, it never got back up in here and broke it, so it never gave us an actual sell signal. So it was such strong selling, you had to hop on board, right? Because it did not give you a signal. And we're looking at Tesla right now, right? So it did not give you a signal on Tesla until later on in the afternoon, where it broke, where it gave you a signal here because it came back up and it touched the opening range, gave you this signal, and then right in here it told you to exit your puts, right? Because then the rest of the day, you can see Tesla, it rallied the rest of the day. I'm not even sure if you broke the range there or not, and it did not give us a signal there. So, however, it did hit all the price targets. And we'll go over the other ones right now. So let's go over NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a winner on Friday, or Thursday rather. You can see the signals it's giving you right now. It's right here. It broke the low end, told you to take a short. Right here, this yellow square told you that this trade was over. And then a couple candles later, it told you to get an early entry here. And then you could have ridden it all the way back up here to this first price target for your winner. Okay. Same thing on Apple. I think Apple was pretty easy on Thursday. So Apple was pretty easy on Thursday. So you hit your price target fairly quickly. You can see, it's giving your arrows right here. The break, you broke your range, taking a sell. A couple candles later, it gives you that yellow square saying that trade is wrong, go the other way. And then boom, it gives you your signal and then hits your price target here on the downside 6 minutes after the market opens. So you can't really beat that. And then let's get over to Meta. We'll fly through these really quick, people. I know how to read this and tell you if you hit your price target. You can see here, without going over each individual signal, you hit your price target at 8:40, which is 10 minutes after the market opened. That was for Meta. And if we go over Google real quick, Google is the same thing. Google, boom, nice little, nice little winner right away on Google here. 8 minutes after the market open. Now, just to go over this again, this is not, I do not write any of this text. I do not write any of these lines, any of these gray areas or the green line. Your green line represents the opening range on the high side, and your red represents on the low side. It's reading the break with volume. It's not just waiting for a break. It's waiting to see, is there volume coming in on that break to give you a clear signal to take that trade, right? So now you can see here on Google, it gave you that trade, and then it told you, it didn't even tell you once you hit your first price target there, it didn't even tell you to exit there. It told you to exit on the next candle right there. It told you, because now you could see the volume starting to step up, and it gave you the little long right here, even though you continue to go down a little bit. But this right here, this yellow square, is the one that told you your shorts should be over. You should consider being over on your shorts, right? And as you can see, we never pop below that at the end of the day, right? So lots of exciting things about this indicator. I'm reading and identifying new things every day with this beyond the basics, right? And here's another perfect example with Amazon. Amazon never gave you that signal either, because there was such mass selling after that 1 minute, and never really gave you that break, right? It was not until later on in the day that it came back up here as a break and retest right here. So it broke this level, did not give you the signal there, right? So there's no yellow square because you were not in a trade. And then up here, it gave you that retest, right? So it told you to take a short. And then a few candles later, it told you to exit the put because that was wrong, because it kept going higher. And so basically, if you took your short right here at 239.45, your stop was at 240.17. So less than $1 stop. It tells you to get out of the trade. Now it can continue to go higher, but for having $1 stop, it was correct. Look at that. You kept going higher. Later on in the day, told you to took a buy signal, and you hit your price target later on in the day, or not later on in the morning, rather, at 10:26. So very excited about this indicator. I'm just waiting to get this final clarification with the script authorizing the code to be marketed, and then we're going to be able to put this out to everybody, and so everybody can join along, and we'll have everybody's different opinion of the indicator as well. So same thing here on Microsoft. Microsoft had your break, hit your profit at 8:35, so 5 minutes after the market opened. So 7 for 7 on the Mag 7, so that's pretty good. What are we going to do for today, people? Today we are going to do, for Tesla, we're going to start with today's expiration date, and I'm going to start with the 395. Where are we right now? We're at got a little bit of a spike there. Yeah, we're at 396. So I'm going to start with the 395 calls. We are lower by $5. So even though they closed at $8 on Thursday, I suspect these are going to open up probably in the $4 range maybe. And then as far as the puts, I'm going to have the 395 puts. So we're kind of close to at the actual equity price for the strike price, but they're going to use today's expiration date. So the premiums will be flying around a little bit in the morning. So we closed at $2.43 on the puts, but because we are about $5 lower, I suspect these are going to probably open up in the $4 range as well. As far as people that are possibly trading SpaceX. So for trading SpaceX, one thing to note with SpaceX, they did now, they put some weekly expiration dates. Last week, they only had monthly expiration dates. Now they have weekly expiration dates. So for SpaceX people, your expiration date that you could possibly start with is a 185 call. It expires on Friday, the 26th. And then you could use the 170 puts. And I'm going to be watching that as well, because I may be starting. I started dabbling with this a little bit. However, I just, taking it slow, seeing how the price action moves. You can see here this 185 call closed at $9.85, but SpaceX is significantly lower. I think it's lower by about what is it? 875, about $8 right now. So that'll probably come down to the $5 range, and then this will probably be in the $5 range too, as far as your premium is concerned. And so how does that matter? So what that matters is, so let's just take this $3.70 premium. Let's say I think that the price is going to go down, and I buy a one lot. My exposure to this trade is $370 and no more. So that means if I buy a one lot and I walk away from my computer and I go out and I go play around a golf, the most I could possibly lose is $370, right? And so now, why do I want to buy a put? If I think the market's going to go down, I buy this put premium at $3.70. And as the actual equity price moves lower, this premium price elevates. And so for every five, so if you buy a one lot and if it moves down $1, the deltas are close. I like trading deltas that are, and a delta means for every dollar the equity price moves, the premium price will move in relationship. So deltas are trading anywhere from 0 to $1. So the deltas that I typically trade are anywhere from 35 to 45 cents, meaning that if the price of SpaceX moves up or down $1, the premium price will move up or down 35 to 45 cents. So how does that translate into dollars? If I think it's going down, let's just, for easy math, let's just say I'm trading a 50-cent delta and the market moves down $1, this price will move up 50 cents. So if I buy a one lot, it makes no difference how much the premium costs. It's going to go up 50 cents. So if I buy a one lot and it goes up 50 cents, I made $50. If I buy a two lot, I make $100. If I buy a three lot, I make $150. It's just simple math that way. So anyways, that is going to be it for today. So again, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. And then don't forget, join our links, go to QOLtrading.com and put your name and email address in there so you can get weekly newsletters, free newsletters, by the way, that come out every Sunday, going over the week in review and what to expect in the week ahead. And also the chat area there, you could see the link to join our Discord community. That is a free community, and in the community I have a levels channel, so I'll post levels. If you have any questions on certain levels, I'll be glad to give you supply and demand levels that I have. And then also, if you want to upgrade, there's a link to join the trading desk from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time, and there we trade options. And I pretty much what you'll see on the options channel there of live trading. You're going to see this platform here, and down here in the lower right, I have my 5-minute chart, I have my 1-minute chart here, and then I explain when I'm taking trades. I'll call out the reason why I'm taking trades, where my stop is going to be, and what my take profit target is going to be. And it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple trading strategy. And I can get more complicated. However, I just try to keep it simple for newer traders. Aside from that, that's going to be it for today. Again, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.